All right, I've graphed our data here and I've labeled the points, and now we're ready to find the equation that represents this line here. And this line we're going to use to approximate this data, and this line has an equation associated with it, and so we're going to find the equation of this line here. Again, we're approximating these dots with a linear function, and that linear function has a graph that looks like this line. And this line best fits the data because it comes closest to all the points. So how do we do this? How are we going to do this? We would need a slope of this line, and we would need the vertical intercept. There's no points on this line that we know of. All the ones that we're given that are raw data are off this line. And so what we do here is use our calculator. Thank God, we're going to use our calculator to do this. The calculator has a program in it already to find the line of best fit and the equation of the line of best fit. So we're going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to walk through the steps on your calculator how to do this. There's two basic things. You just got to enter the data. So you got to enter, we're going to use this y variable, by the way. So we're going to enter this data right here in our calculator, and then push the right buttons to create the equation of this line here. So here are the steps, and I'll outline them written, and I'll model them here first. So what you're going to do here, well, let me show you. I have them written here. We're going to go to Stat and then Edit. So the Stat button here is right here. So Stat, let me get that glare off of there. Stat, then number 1 is Edit, so you can hit 1 or just hit Enter to edit. And notice you have a list of L columns. We're only going to use L1 and L2. If you have some numbers in there, you should be able to hit Delete and delete them out. Or if you want to have too many, if you arrow up and then hit Clear and then arrow down, it'll get rid of all of them in one shot. Okay, so it's Stat, then Edit, and then the input values go under L1, so that's the input column, and the outputs go under L2, that's the output column. So let's enter those in there. So 1, 5, 9, and so on. Remember, using our variable y that we created years since 1990. And then the actual values were given. So it's always a good idea to give them a once over. Here, let me just compare really quick. Okay, those look good. All right, so they're ready to be manipulated now by this step. We could graph the data here by hitting Zoom and then number 9, Zoom Stat, and the calculator will give us a scatter plot, which is just the hard raw data in picture format. So let's do it just for fun. You may want to do this. So if you hit Zoom and then down to number 9, Zoom Stat, this function here will tell the calculator which scaling to use, and it'll give you a nice viewing window that captures all your data. So number 9, I'll arrow down and hit Enter, and so what that does is not what I wanted to do. I think we have to go to second format. No, second stat plot. Oh, I got to turn on my stat plot. That's what I got to do. So I got to turn this on here, so make sure that's on. So I went to second y equals, so stat plot. Make sure your stat plot is on. So make sure on is highlighted, and notice if you arrow down, you have different types of graphs you can use for your stat plot, or what we call scatter plot. Notice it's going to use L1 and L2, and I have the color option in my nice calculator here. But once it's on, so you're good. So I'm going to hit Enter. And it's on. I'm sorry, it's already on here. So now I'm going to do my Zoom Stat. So I'm going to do Zoom Stat number 9, and that should give me a picture of my raw data. So that's very comparable to that. So the moral of the story: make sure your stat plot's on. Okay, once that is done, which you really don't need to do again, but step 3 here is now let's go find the linear regression equation. You're going to go back to Stat and then over to Calc. So Stat, gives you the step menu, and then arrow right, and then arrow down to linear regression, AX plus B, and it'll give you a formula in AX plus B format. Really, that A should be M. The programmers made a mistake there. It should have been MX plus B. So down to 4, and in my calculator, if I hit enter, I have several options here. I'm going to arrow down and hit until it hits C, calculate, and hit enter. You can just enter, depending on your calculator you have. You may just have to hit enter once, but there it is in all of its glory. Look at y equals mx plus b. That should be an m, and so this coefficient here, a, is the slope. This b here is the vertical intercept still, and so I want you to take some time and write this down here, and then we'll talk about what this means in the next page, which is problems 1, 2, 3, and 4 of your next page in your handout. So check back with me in the next video.